Can you text Vanessa the Zoom link? Huh? Well, she texted me at 11:51. Looking in the other room.
May we pray? Gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you, Lord, for the opportunity to come together. We thank you for the many blessings you've given us and the lives that have been touched. We pray for those fathers that have been impacted and either their families, their work, their communities by this virus and all the actions that have gone with it. Our prayers with them. Thank you for the blessings you've given us. Bless the food of our body, bless your service. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You can be seated. I hope our friends on Zoom can hear and see us okay. I was having technical difficulties, so I'm using my phone this week instead of what I used last week. For those of you who might be on Zoom and have any issues, you can also try to do the YouTube link that I sent out at 10:30 this morning. So we're welcoming Sarah Fox. She's from our district and the Longview Rector. Yes. She is our social media coordinator, and she's helping to set up the YouTube Live. So we might just be doing that and moving forward. We're going to see how it works. I'm going to turn it over to Courtney for the introduction of guests.
I was going to introduce you, but you got that out of the way. I have two guests with me today, and they are both actually from Primrose Retirement Community. Have y'all heard about that community that's going up on Russia? One is Sarah Clever. Yes, we are related. That's our last name, yes. And she is my sister-in-law. She is their co-director at Primrose, and her boss is Chelsea Owens. She is executive director at Primrose Retirement Community. They're next month, and they're really good. They came in. Thank y'all so much. And Roberto Torino is with RT Energy. He is also a guest of ours today. And that is it.
And I'm going to reintroduce Michael. Michael, what's your last name again? Hurley. Michael Hurley. He is from the Rotary Club of Tyler, but soon he's going to be from the Tyler Rotary Club because he's going to transfer. And welcome back to Randy. I guess we have to officially get you back into the club. Somehow we got to do that. Welcome. Everything.
I'm not sure.
Bill Coates is not here today, so we're not going to have a sports moment. We're going to start off by swearing in and inducting one of our newest members, Sheila Austin. Sheila, come on up. Today, we welcome into our Rotary family an admit membership to Sheila Austin, who is sponsored by me. Sheila and I are friends somewhat through the JCs, even though we weren't in the JCs together. You have been elected to membership in this club because your fellow members believe you to be worthy representative of your vocation and also to possess qualities that will permit you to exemplify in your public, business, social, and private life the true spirit of Rotary. I'm gonna have to change that word. I struggle on it every single time. Rotary is a service club with each member adhering to our motto, service above self. In addition to service, you will have the benefit of strong bonds of friendship, not only with the members of this club, but with Rotarians worldwide. By virtue of your membership in this club, you will be welcomed in the fellowship of any Rotary club in the world. It is my privilege and an honor to induct you as a member of the South Highland Rotary Club. I'll give you your pen, and we hope that you wear it with pleasure to signify our worldwide association. We're always with pride.
Okay, I need to give you yours. I forgot to give you this certificate and a little bit of information about Rotary. Give that to you, and then why don't you come over so that the people on the TV can see? And then I'm gonna do a little bit of Q&A with Sheila. She's like, what?
So that we can get to know Sheila a little bit better. What do you do?
I am an accountant at Henry Peters CPA firm.
And how long have you been working there?
8 years.
8 years, wow. Why did you choose to go into accounting?
Well, I am good at math, and I like when things balance.
What is the part of your job that you find most rewarding?
I have a diverse range of clients that I work with, and besides being able to work with numbers, I really like the clients. I get to help out.
And I know, because I know you, I know that you're going towards your CPA, and how is that going?
I have one last section. I'm scheduled 2 weeks from tomorrow.
So hopefully we'll be celebrating Sheila's passing of the final part of the CPA. So you're from this area, right?
Born and raised here. Born and raised
Born and
here.
raised in Thomas, Clarkston, Moore, and Lee.
And what type of hobbies or special interests do you have?
I like arts and crafts. I like genealogy, history. I like just going to the lake and hanging out by the water.
She likes to read too. She's been reading a book club with me as well.
I like to spell. Nancy knows about that. I like to spell.
Last year, you finished second?
No, we were maybe fourth last year. We were second. The other 2 years. Yeah.
If you ever like to play trivia, you want Sheila on your team. That's all I can say about that. That's her other hobby is trivia. So, welcome Sheila. We're glad to have you as a member. Next up, we're going to do a check presentation to the Nurse Family Partnership. I'm going to call Pam up here, and Mrs. Janice. Jackie. Jackie and Pam, come on up. And I know I put this in the bulletin, and I didn't print out the information for myself, but just to give you guys a little bit of information, when we donate money to the Rotary Foundation, 3 years later, we are eligible to apply for a grant from our district. And when we do the grants, we submit it, and then it gets approved, and then we match. This year's grant is, so the club project grants are funded from district grant funds received from the Rotary Foundation. Clubs can use these grants to fund scholarships, support vocational teams, sponsor volunteer service, provide disaster recovery systems, and carry out community and international service projects. We decided to support the Nurse Family Partnership, and I'm going to let Jackie speak just a minute about what that is. And so today we're presenting them a check for $2,618. and she's gonna tell us a little bit about what the program does and how Rotary can be of assistance.
Thank you all for having me. I really do appreciate it. We've had, I'm not used to this. Right. We've had a great relationship here in Tyler. We are a grant funded program through the University of Texas Health Science Center on 271. We serve moms both here in Smith County and Henderson County. First time low income, under-resourced moms. And we build a relationship with them from the time they find out they're pregnant. Sometimes they get assigned a nurse when they're maybe 4 to 6 weeks pregnant, and we stay with them until the baby turns 2. It's almost a 3-year relationship. They have a nurse come out to the home, do one-on-one visits. Typically in the doctor's office, you may have a 15-minute visit with a doctor or a nurse. They get an hour and a half with their personal nurse, and we go out every other week and see mom, see baby. The goal of the program is really help mom and the baby. So this program, I've been with them for 3 years, and we've just grown. We started with 4 nurses, and based on the needs of the community, we now have 8. And so with the funds, we plan on just celebrating mom. We had a conversation with Pam about how 2020 was not as planned, and so we've had some increase in mental health referrals, and we just plan to use the funds to help mom do the best that she can and boost their self-esteem. So thank you so much.
Very good.
And I know that part of what we're helping fund is called the Phases Project, and it's a package of stuff to give to the mothers and their babies in specific stages, or phases, as you would say. And I know that we might have an opportunity to help them put those phase boxes together, and Pam will let us know when we get closer to that time. So.
One of the other things too is sometimes they have, this year's different programs for the moms. And it may be that there's somebody in our group that would be a great speaker. Like if I put the word out and say they really could use somebody to speak on a certain topic. But the work that I've done, even with Nurse Family Partnership, they are an awesome group. Absolutely, the things that they do in our community. And so we take for granted. My daughter-in-law I just had a number 4 baby girl, granddaughter this past week. And some of the things that if you're middle class or affluent, you're easily able to afford when you're pregnant. It's a totally different thing when your mom who's maybe really struggling. So the Spaces programs can be able to provide some of those items that maybe we just take for granted that every mom to be has, and not everyone does. So Jasmine and her crew do an incredible job. I'll do that.
We're excited to be able to support projects like this in the Tyler area. One of the first announcements that I'll make about today is just on August 1st, we're going to open up our club grants for the community. We have roughly $24,000 less, a little bit of money, like the matching part came out of that we're going to be able to spend. So if you are in I'm getting text messages while I'm sitting up here. If you're affiliated with a nonprofit or you're familiar with a nonprofit in town that kind of services the 7 areas of focus that Rotary has, then please encourage them to submit the grant application. You'll see an email come out on that on August 1st. So we will look into that. So Tom DeWitt wants to come up and make an announcement. And while he's coming up, I do want to share with you guys that Dalton is hosting a, do you want to talk about it, Dalton? He's like, why not? So, but sure, come on up and I'll let Tom talk and then Dalton will fit in.
I'm not used to this. You all should have gotten an email from me over the weekend about Diane's desire that we go back to tracking service hours. I think I've got 15 out of 99 that have responded so far. That 15 represents 325 hours of service to the community in this past month. I think that's pretty significant. So you can imagine what the number will be when all 99 of us have reported in. Secondly, I mentioned last week that we're raising recognition points to make Tom Mullins a Paul Harris Fellow. This morning, we've actually subscribed 600 of the 1,000 needed. So if a few more of you want to participate in that recognition for Tom Mullins, see me before you leave today.
Thank you, Tom.
He's going to talk to us about some things on service.
So just coming right off what Tom just talked about, we're kind of getting a service committee put together, and so we're going to be having a Zoom meeting this Wednesday at 4 p.m. If you want to be involved with that, you're more than welcome to be involved. Just let me or Diane know, and we'll get you the link to hop on that meeting. We're just going to be talking about some stuff we want to do this year, and then if you've got ideas, we want to hear ideas. We need to be creative to engage the club, but there's lots of stuff we can do. So lots of need out there, but just let us know if you will be involved in that, and we will absolutely get you plugged in. Thank you.
Thanks, Dalton. And one of my goals this year is to get more members involved in the planning and organizing and implementing of our projects and events. We have a board of 20 some odd people, but we have a club of almost 100 members, and it doesn't make sense that these 20 people are the only ones who are organizing things. And Dalton was like, yeah, I'll do the service again, but it would be nice if I had some help. So a few answered the survey that I sent out back in May, and those are the folks that he's contacted, but we're looking for people to help on every committee that we have. The membership committee, I know that Colleen uses a lot of folks for the speakers, our community service committee, international, Riley, youth services, the greeters, Courtney is heading up the greeters, but we're going to need a couple more folks to help her out. Polio Plus, the funds coordinating, we just have a lot of opportunities for you to get involved. And we don't want you to wait necessarily for us to call, because we will call, but, you know, you can get your pick of what you want if you let us know early. Otherwise, you might get a call and say, well, being on the cleanup committee. And I did want to, he kind of snuck in, and we consider him a member. He hasn't officially applied, but Jared Kent is here. Jared, good to see you. So are you now officially joining us? All right. Woo-hoo! We're excited. And he's been basically a Rotary for months, a Rotarian for months now, but now he gets to officially be getting text messages and they're distracting me. So, you know, one of the challenges of being president is you just got to face everything that comes at you. And so last week I tried Zoom for the first time, and it worked okay. I said, oh, I have some ideas on how to make it work a little bit differently. And you'll see that I'm using my phone today because I couldn't get my laptop to work. My mouse wasn't doing anything, so I couldn't open anything up. So we're adapting as we go. We made, Sarah has generously set up a YouTube channel for us, and we should be able to do live videos. That's what she's doing for us right now. So we might switch to that. That way people don't have to log in and sign in. They can just turn it on, and then you can watch it. If you can't make it at our regular scheduled meeting, you can always just go back and watch it on your own at a different time. Before I turn it over to Colleen, our speaker, just wanted to find out if there is any other announcements from the floor, anything that I missed discussing? Oh, I was going to share with you guys, be on the lookout for an email about a possible Zoom call. Roberto Tarico, he's one of our guests today, and he's a new member, he's a transfer, or whatever you want to call it, but he's a former member of the Club of Snyder here in Texas, and I'm not even going to try without having it in front of me. An international club, and he's approached us with a possible project idea. He asked if there would be some time to speak today. We didn't have the time allowed today. We talked about possibly doing a Zoom call, and so be on the lookout. We might just schedule a random Zoom call sometime this week or next week, and if you could join, that would be great. All right, well, then I'm going to turn it over to Colleen for our program.
Okay, guys, you're going to be so excited and truly just blessed by our program today. So during COVID, one of our sister Rotaries started the meeting prior to us. So Paul Weiser very sweetly asked me to go with him until we started back up. And I said, sure. And this was one of the programs, and it's Robin Hood Grimes. Let me tell you a little bit about his background. I don't know Raise a hand, who's heard of Robin Hood? Okay, good, handful of you, awesome. Okay. He is a local, he attended Edom ISD and Tyler ISD. He had a photography studio for a while, that's where he got his first start, and he's a recording studio owner and engineer producer. He was also a singer and songwriter. For a while, he organized, this is so fun, Robin Hood and his Merry Men, and played country music in school proms and conventions and venues throughout the whole entire state. He built Robin Hood Studios locally, which is still up in operation today. But download this. He helped record the first 4 albums by ZZ Top, John Fredman's Playboy Band, James Brown, Ike and Tina Turner, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Dale Hawkins, Mouse and the Taps. He's got all kinds of fun stuff in his resume. The other thing is, currently, he's also writing and producing music for commercials and various clients that include Greyhound Bus, Chili's, Coors Beer, Jimmy Dean Sausage, Whataburger, Dillard's, Mexico, just to mention a few. He's got a plethora of really, really interesting background. I think this is going to be a true highlight of the day and week, so please help me welcome Robin Hood Ryans.
So I'm supposed to eat the mic.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for allowing me to spend this time with you and the people here. What are you guys doing? Shame on you. Okay. Well, look, I spoke to the other club, and now there's this. I didn't know there were 2 Rotary clubs in town. There's one. People are like rabbits. You know, my life has been one constant change. First thing I'm going to say is I feel incredibly fortunate to have ended up in Tyler, Texas. Because I've traveled a lot, Europe, all around, but Tyler, Texas has some incredible things going on here that you're not going to find anywhere else. I started off my studio with one little mono recorder, and I added a 2-track, and then 4, 8, 16, and 24, and now in the computer we have absolutely unlimited tracks. I probably wouldn't still have a studio were it not for my son, who's a computer engineer. About 4 months ago, I had an email. Some people in Germany wanted me to do a session. How many of you ever heard of the police chief up in Hawkins? That German police chief up there? His name is Manfred Guido. Manfred, he's a kind of I guess you'd describe him as a Arnold Schwarzenegger kind of a guy. He was born and raised in Berlin, and he's very outgoing. And the Discovery Channel in Germany came over and they shot a series about him. They got him stopping people, investigating wrecks, teaching his deputies how to shoot guns. It's really quite a series. They did 7 shows. And what they wanted me to do is bring him in, project the video in the studio for him so he could watch the video that had been edited, read the lines in German that they will insert where he was speaking English when they shot it. Then I had to take that and stream that to 3 producers in Germany, 1 in Denmark. They could watch it, listen to him, push a button, and talk back into his headphones here in Tyler, Texas. I told my son, I said, your daddy has been dragged, kicking and screaming in the 21st century. In fact, my son told, there were a lot of elements that had to go together to make all that happen. And my son said, Dad, anytime you've got 8 elements that have to synchronize together, and 2 of them are computers running Windows 10, it's like having 2 girlfriends and they're both meth. Because Windows 10 is a work in progress, okay? No kidding, yeah. Absolutely. But anyway, we made it work. It wasn't a lot of fun because I heard German spoken by those Germans like I hadn't heard it for years, which reminded me why I fell in love with a German exchange student about 1960s. 1963 when she was exchanged to go here. You know, Tyler is an amazing place. I go to Christ Church, and one of the people who attend there is George Roberts. Now, George Roberts is just part of a huge one. I think we're really fortunate. You look at any other town besides Tyler, you have a hard time finding the absolute, I mean, we got everything. We've got not one nursing school, but two. We don't have three. We have three Rotaries. There you go. But we really are a unique city for our size. I do a lot of work in politics. I write ads for politics. And one of the things that makes my job easy is KTVB. Because you need to be able to find whoever your demographics are. Paul Gleiser just does an incredible job. You travel across the country, you're not going to find many towns this size with a KTVB full-time news all day long. It's really unusual. I like Paul. I like especially the way he does those commercials live. You know, my favorite one is when he says, "I have a special place at the bar at Keepersville. Come by if I'm not there. Feel free to sit down." I thought, yeah. Well, about 2 months ago, 3 or 4 months before this COVID stuff started, my wife was in Denton taking care of grandparents. So I'd gone to the whiskey store and I was on the way back. I said, you know, I think I'm going to go over and drop by Keepersville. So I walked in there and I looked over there and there was that empty stool with the name Paul Gleiser. I looked around and he wasn't there, so I slipped up on that stool. This pretty little girl came over and said, "Mr. Gleiser, I met you now. I'm new here. I'm seeing you." And all of a sudden I realized it is a lot more fun being Paul Gleiser. She said, would you like a wine list? And the immediate thought, WWPD, what would Paul do? So I said, sure. So she brought the wine list. And normally, when my wife and I go out, I'm looking through the wine list to try to find a bottle of wine I can afford. In this case, I was trying to find something I could pronounce. I found a bottle of wine that looked pretty good. $655. And, well, it wasn't $655 actually. It was only about $465, I think, to be honest. And I thought, I bet that's good at that price. Well, it was. I said, yes, sir. I sat there and slowly sipped that wine, and it was really good. And I looked at the menu, and there was that filet mignon. I was sure, so I had that. Then the cream spinach. I didn't tell my wife I went, because she loves the cream spinach. And I figured it out. Well, when we finished, the little girl came by and said, Mr. Gleiser, here, you sign the bill. I looked down there, it was a little over $500. And I was so glad that the name tag was there. Wouldn't it be embarrassing to misspell the man's name? And I signed the bill. So I signed it, she took it back. She came back a little while and said, Mr. Gleiser, you've gone $15 over your trade for this month. You want me to just put it on next month? And I thought, what kind of man would do a thing like that? So I said, I'll pay that out of the pocket. And then, of course, well, I knew I had to tip. Well, because all Gleiser, wait a minute, you don't understand. This man takes people on trips to Holland, Denmark, Germany, Italy, France, all up and down the Rhine River. No kidding, Paul. The name Paul Gleiser is a household name all over South Tyler. You know what I mean? And so I tipped the girl and I enjoyed my meal. Another thing everything about my life has been lucky. I was born in Corsicana. My folks moved over here. And my mother was big in, well, she's big in everything. She was a strong woman, raised during the Depression and World War II. She was president of the Azalea Garden Club. She was president of the chairman of the Tyler Council of Garden Clubs. She was president of All Saints Guild down in Christchurch. She was president of the women of the church. She was chairman of the road show out here so many times I couldn't remember. My mother carried a gavel in the glove box because she she never knew what she was gonna be. And now my sister was 5 years older than I was, so she made, I shouldn't say this word, she made my life hell. No, she really did, because she made straight A's in school. And when you have ADHD, and they have not yet discovered what that attention deficit disorder really is, she may not have it difficult, but she was a great architect. She designed buildings in Mexico and Spain, and all over the country, Holiday Inns, Hilton Inns. If you ever cross the river down in San Antonio on the right, there's a round Holiday Inn. It's been there for many decades. She designed that, and that was one of the first round hotels in the United States of America. Now, people ask me, what do you feel like the real, the peak of your career was? Well, I can Tina Turner. Tina Turner was just such a ball of fire. And I got real close to getting in trouble. Because Ike, if you ever saw the movie, they portrayed him as being a real, can't say that word here. Yeah, yes ma'am. What is your name, darling? Nancy, thank you. I couldn't say that word. Even under the mask, I know what you said. But yes, he was. And he licked her, he chewed her out, and he reached over like he was going to slap her. And I just kind of stepped over there, and I looked at him and I said, I beg your pardon, sir. He looked at me like I was crazy. And I thought, you're right, I probably am. But he backed off. ZZ Top, what a great group to work with. These guys went into a warehouse down in Houston. They practiced for months and months and months. Have any of you seen the documentary about ZZ Top? Yeah, on Netflix. Well, they treated me good on there. They gave me plenty of time to describe how I tricked their manager. Their manager, a guy named Bill Hamm, he had been a record promotion man for David Brothers Distributors out of Houston. They also own Big State Records in Dallas, so they really control the record industry except for the major labels. And he had booked a group into San Antonio, but they didn't sound anything like their records. They had overdubbed a lot of stuff in the studio, and when they got on stage, it wasn't the same. So he made a fast rule right then. When I manage a group, there will be no overdubbing. And what does he bring me? One set of drums, one guitar, and one bass. So we struggled through several sessions trying to figure out. I put microphones in the hall, one in the bathroom, I put one outside the door. I did everything to try to create some sort of big different sound. But I knew how to do it. All I needed to do was overdub. So in the third session, I told Billy, I said, when I give you the number, you'll know what to do. At 1 o'clock, I looked at Billy and I said, Bill, you've been promising these guys you're going to give them some ribs from the country tavern. That's the best barbecue in the world. I think the guys deserve it. I looked over at Billy and winked. He said, well, man, I don't think I can sing you no more blues till I get me some barbecue. Well, I had arranged this with my mother. I said, Mama, we're going to get him in here and we're going to let him pay for those ribs before he goes over, so he won't turn around. So, and don't tell him how far it is. So I just told him, Darylson, we'll go right down here on the line, turn right up front, you'll end up on Highway 31, it's a ways out there on the left. And if you get lost, ask somebody. I wrote down Country Tavern and gave it to him. Well, that's when I got out of the studio and let Billy record the rhythm track with the drums. And then I went out and just messed up the tune a little bit on the guitar. I said, now play the same thing. We panned those 45 degrees. It was heaven and earth. It was wonderful. And when I was out it's been, 15, I think it was. It was a year I was out in Los Angeles for the big grand opening, and the first show wasn't even public. It was just an invited affair. I told the producer at the time, I said, well, I told my wife, you interviewed me for an hour and a half. I'll be lucky to get 40 seconds on the screen. He says, no, you're going to be very well surprised. But, there's so many groups I worked with, that was part of it. But then, about the time acid rock came on, an employee, Randy Fox, super talented guy from up here in the office. And we became partners to produce Ryan's and Fox music. We did commercials. And I said, Randy, I don't know if I can deal with this acid rock scene. And that's when we really got involved in commercials. And once again, how lucky I've been. That's about the time the advertising business in Dallas just boomed. As a matter of fact, my best friend, Judge Jacob, was working for a group up there called Bozell and Jacobs. They pitched the American Airlines account, and everybody laughed. It said, why would American Airlines leave their ad agency in New York and come to Dallas? Well, because their office is over near Fort Worth. Well, I got to work on that pitch, and they won. That was the largest agency account in the Southwest at the time, and they won it. So many more. We worked on Dillard's, we worked on pastry sauce. We created the original Chili's Baby Back Ribs campaign. Oh, the old guy that none of you probably know him. His name was Peyton Parks. I hope he's still alive and well in Austin, but he played clarinet and sang in a group called the Levy Singers in Dallas. And when he got into I love my baby, the clients just went crazy. And the boss over at Chili's told me that was the most successful ad campaign they ever had. They had to go on to the pork belly market in Denmark and buy more to cover themselves because they sold more than they thought they would. I've been lucky because a lot of talented people came through my door. Writers, musicians, singers. The timing was right because right now, little labels, independent labels don't have a chance. We have what we call the big three. The Sony label group, the Big Machine, and there's one more, and they have bought up all the labels. Dot Records used to be independent, no more. Motown, no more. Stax Records, all of them, Sun Records, they're all bought up by those three groups. And they control it with an iron fist. They've been signing artists to what's called a 360-degree deal. Now, I don't know a lot about the law, even though I've been involved in contracts all my life. I don't think it's legal. They are your record label. They are your publisher, your songs. They are your booking agent. They are your publicist. They are your manager. How can a manager be the same person as negotiating all the other contracts? I don't have those. But that's a part of what's killed the music business in America. And here in Texas, we're lucky because our Texas music scene is huge. I guess I'm just lucky to be here. I'm also lucky because I suffered from a lot of back pain over the years. And I said, it's a disc. I had a lot of chiropractic help. So I looked online and I saw something that excited me. Microdiscectomy. They cut a little scar about that long. You've had it. Was it wonderful? There you go. They just go in there and fix it. They come out. What, they put a Band-Aid over the scar? Yeah. I thought, I think I'm going to try this. So I went to Dr. Ledley, Dr. John Ledley, he's retired now. And I said, John, I think I need a discectomy on my back. He said, well, I just got your scan in, and he pulled the picture up, and he said, not going to be a discectomy. He said, it's going to be laminectomy. And the scar goes from here to here. L1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, after that, I did well. Got home, I was walking around, everything's going well, and I came up with what's called post-surgical delirium. Anybody know what that is? It's called going stark, raving crazy. My wife has a video of me sitting at a little stool in the kitchen there, and I take a baggie, put my car keys in there, I crumble up a cookie, I poured some milk, put a couple other things in there, and I zipped it up and asked her if she'd put that in the refrigerator for me. That's just before the ambulance came and took me back to the hospital, where I ended up in the ICU unresponsive for 12 hours. But I got over that. I had a hip replacement, that went well. Then I had a second hip replacement. So I like Gary Goodfried. He's a great doctor. He did a great job on this one. He was talking to me about doing the other one. I said, Gary, we're buddies. We've known each other for years. I said, remember when we scoped my right knee and you let me stay awake for it? He said, oh yeah, I remember that. I said, will you do this left hip on the low? He said, Ronnie, no. But he said, besides that surgery I did on you when you were awake, that was the next to the last one I did, because the last one was a doctor friend of mine, and he went and started raving crazy on us. Thought we'd never get him put to sleep. So I really love it. Unfortunately, I didn't have a little bit. After that surgery, the anesthesiologist left me on my back without a CPAP, and I suffered from extreme sleep apnea. So I apnea and died. But it's okay, because they pumped me, shot me, they got me going again. Took me over to ETMC, and about an hour and a half later, the nurse said, Ms. Grimes, what is that mask in your husband's throat? She said, my husband doesn't have a mask in his throat. The nurse came over and looked, oh no! Seems like the intubation tube had tangled up, and not only was I not getting any oxygen from that, I had oxygen starved for an hour and a half. So I'm lucky to have turned out as brilliant as I am. I apologize for it, but you know, my career's gone in a circle. I'm right back where I started. One of the first groups I worked with was Mouse in the Tracks. He sounded so much like Dylan. That's what they told us, that he would have been a bigger act, but he sounds just like Dylan. Well, he's been through a lot. The average length of time a person lives for the lung transplant is 3.5 to 5 years. He just passed 8 years. He had a little surgery on the face. It's going to take a little radiation, but I think it's going to be good. We just finished a Dylan album. 14 Dylan songs done better than Dylan can do them right now. I guarantee you right. And we're working on that and hoping to have that album out in about 10 days to 2 weeks, because I'm right back where I started. So I've had a lucky life. Lucky to have ended up in Tyler. Lucky to have the media that we have here. Lucky to have been a part of the music industry when all these independent labels needed studios like me. Lucky to have been involved in music for advertising when my nearest town, Dallas, was doing extremely well. In fact, I'm lucky to have been singing in the Christchurch choir for 68 years. I don't know if that's a record. I hope not, because I plan to beat it. I really look forward to the day when we can all get back together and sing again, because it's going to be great. This COVID thing has been strange. I never realized that it was going to end up being an intelligence test. Somebody asked me on Facebook, they posted this thing, well, it was real kind of dark. So why are you wearing masks? Because the government tells you you have to? Or is it because the business posts decide you can't come in without a mask? Or you just decide you're going to surrender to somebody else's orders? I posted, I wear a mask for 2 reasons. 1, I'm not an idiot. 2, I really do love my fellow man and want to do everything I can to keep from hurting them. So we were locked down during my birthday. Actually, I got married on my birthday, and that's good because I'll never be able to forget my birthday now. And we were sitting in the swing out in the back patio. It was cool in April, and I was reminiscing with my wife about it all, about how lucky I've been. Everything seems to have been lucky. All the wonderful, talented people that walk through that door of the studio. My studio was finished 4 months before my father died suddenly. And my father and mother and I built that building. We did everything with the 8 blocks. Timing. I'm just lucky that it's finished while he was still alive, so we could do it. Lucky to have all these wonderful people come through my door, lucky to be a part of it. I said, I'm lucky about everything. And we had a toast of some wine, not as good as they had at Keeper's Hall, but it was pretty good stuff. And it hit me. And I told Suzanne, I said, honey, I just realized something. She said, what's that? I said, I'm not lucky. She looked at me, I looked at her, and I said, I'm blessed. That's what it is. I've been blessed. Like I've been blessed to be able to spend this time with you guys here today. And I really appreciate the opportunity. And don't tell Paul Weiser that I signed for him out there. And if anybody's got any questions about my crazy life, I would do my best to answer them. Yes, sir.
Was it a challenge to be in Tyler, Texas, and have people have to come here?
That's a good question.
About going to Dallas?
Well, I thought about going to Nashville actually, but the answer to that question is that during that period of time, there were studios in Dallas that had better equipment than mine, but all they did was commercials and tunes. They made a lot of money doing that, so that's all they booked. And there was a set to do records. So I was in a situation in that period of time where the independent record labels in Dallas, there was Spans in Shreveport, he had Paul Records and Jewel Records. And so there was business to be had here. And I was one of the few studios that went in business to do records. And it was following.
So you're fine, I've got a microphone for everybody else.
Oh, okay. But to answer your question, once again, I was blessed with the time. That business plan wouldn't work today because with the digital electronics, everybody can have a studio in their bedroom.
Tell us a little bit about your single, Greenville Avenue.
Greenville Avenue. Well, I've been doing a lot of commercials and kind of getting tired of that. And so I wrote this song because when we go to Dallas and work on these commercials and everything, one of the places we could go would be Fridays, Greenville and was it Mockingbird, I think, yeah, or Lover's Lane actually. And I realized that I heard all these songs about the boardwalk and about places in California. And I said, maybe I ought to write a song about Greenville Avenue. And so I did. And I thought it was really good. But once again, got some good airplay. A lot of people said they loved it, but never became a hit. But to me, that's another thing about the music business. It's kind of like being a wildcatter in the oil business. You think you're going to do well, then you cut a fault and you end up 300 feet low and plug it and walk away. There's a lot of that in the music business. But that record did do a lot of good for my business because I got a lot of people, that appreciated it and wanted to come record here. Any others? Well, I'll tell you what, I've solved everybody's problems. I've done well. Thank you so much.
That was definitely an enjoyable presentation. Just a few things before we wrap up. Please make certain that you turn in your service hours to Tom. Tom, what works as a service hour?
Anything that you are doing not for compensation for an institution, government agency, a nonprofit, church, whatever.
Okay. We don't have a raffle today. That was one last week. So we donated money back to the club. So we'll start the raffle up again, I guess, soon. Just in case you guys are curious, I know we haven't really talked about it. We are doing box lunches right now to decrease the amount of exposure that we have to open food and stuff like that. So that's why we are doing box lunches. Carol's doing a great job of trying to give us a variety of stuff. I think we might have to Chick-fil-A next week or something. Chick-fil-A next week. So. And I just wanted to do a couple of closing comments. We mentioned, all of us have talked about the fact that COVID-19 and everything has just been really weird. You know, we just wrapped up, this is our last meeting of the first month of the Rotary year. And I really want to thank all of you guys for your patience and understanding and graciousness as we've had to adapt. I'm so excited we're back in this room. I don't know about you guys, but that gym was just weird, so at least this is a little bit more normalcy. You know, I also want, you know, we have a transition to a new board, so there's, you know, we just have a lot of change going on right now, so I'm very appreciative of you guys being here. We're open to ideas and suggestions, but if you bring an idea or suggestion to us, please be prepared to back it up and help us plan it. Because we can only do so much. Remind you guys that next week we have our district governor, Jack Welke. He's going to be in to talk to us, board members. He'd like to meet with us at 11, and then the meeting will start at 12. While he's here, we'll also have a couple of new member inductions and a couple of Paul Harris Fellow pins to present. So, hope you guys can be here next week. We'll be back here. We'll have Chick-fil-A for lunch. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm excited to see what the next 11 months brings. Nancy?
The 4-way test of the things we think, say, or do. First,
Second.
second,
Second.